to NFL and college football analyst Mike Detillier, who knew Coach O before he became what we know as Coach O. Is it hard to wrap your head around what we just heard?
Listen, life changes quickly, and so things happen fast, sometimes unexpectedly, and it just seemed to come apart so quickly. And I think that was the thing that I think catches everybody a little off guard with this, that how could it have went south this quickly? And, listen, they got a lot of different factors. I'll look at two of them. To me, the main factors. One is that, I'll say three. One's the Joe Burrow factor, okay? Joe, man, he sued a lot of ointments on that team. And we've seen it, what happened at Texas A&M after Johnny Manziel left. What happened to Coach Helton at USC when Sam Darnold left. What's happened, different places if, Gene Chizik lost Cam Newton. And he did irritate the number one donor at Auburn, which wasn't a smart idea. But, again, we've seen this come apart. And a lot of people don't like to admit this, especially males, that there is one guy that is a cut above, and that was Joe. And he sued a lot of the ointment. He put a lot of it on this football team. And you got that magical run. I think the second thing is to lose quality assistant coaches and people with experience and the inability to fully develop your talent. Pete Jenkins, losing him, defensive line. Then the guy that replaced Pete was Meatball, Dennis Johnson. He's the defensive line coach at Baylor right now. That's a pretty good football team there. Steve Ensminger. Slinger, and Joe deserves all the credit in the world for some of that offensively. But, Slinger was a really good play caller, and even Joe Burrow has told me that Ensminger played such a big part in his career in developing his talent. And not to mention Joe Brady, who's going to be an NFL head coach one day, and Dave Aranda, who's a head coach now at Baylor. That's some key people you lost and didn't fully replace from a standpoint of developing talent. And don't give me that they don't have talent. Last three recruiting seasons, they finished 5th, 4th, 3rd nationally. That's pretty good. And 5th, 4th, and 3rd. So, you did lose a ton of people in 2019, no question about it. And they were hard to replace. But you came back and, bang, 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 3 top 5 recruiting classes. But the difference was you weren't able to fully develop it. But I think the main cause of what we have experienced is something we see and we don't like to talk about, but it's true. Most people in life can't handle great success. Can't handle it. There is a reason 73% of Powerball and lottery winners are broke within 36 months. Don't know how to deal with money. Don't know how to deal with that type of wealth all of a sudden. Ed did not do the best job, and I think when he's going to look back at it, he's going to admit that. You sort of trade your passion for glory and being in the limelight a lot more than you were before. It's hard to get to the mountaintop. It's even harder to stay there. It's why long after you and I will shed this mortal coil that we're in, they will be writing books about Nick Saban and how he was able to do it. There's been no one like him around. It's unbelievable how each year, his teams are playing for national championships, and he loses players. He loses coaches. They got transfer portals, losing guys early to the NFL draft, and he still keeps reloading the gun. It's unbelievable. And he's done it like no one has ever done it. And so, you lose your focus. You lose your maybe work ethic isn't as, tight as it was before, and things distract you. People around you aren't as good. You maybe don't listen as well to people that you maybe would have listened to. And that's what great success brings you. Okay? But no one wants to admit it. No one. Oh, I can handle it. BS. You think you can handle it. Very few people can. That's a big reason why about 3% of the nation's wealth are controlled by a handful of people. They know how to deal with it. They know how to handle success. Now, maybe their personal life might be a mess, but, man, their professional life is unbelievable. And so, Christian, I think we saw the trifecta here. You lose a great quarterback and leader. You never really replace some quality coaches who could develop talent. And thirdly, I think the kind of it's a metaphor off of the movie, but you lost the eye of the tiger. You lost, you traded in your passion for a little bit of glory, for a little bit of spotlight when you weren't quite as focused and ready to go.
That's right out of the song.
You were before.
That's right out of the song, Passion for Glory.
That's it. It is what it is. And so I think those three things played a huge part. I've heard all this stupidity and all this rhetoric about talent. Again, I can tell you, if you finish in the top 5 recruiting 3 straight years, it's not because of a lack of talent. Now, you might say they didn't do a good job along the offensive line, recruit people, and you got no debate on me with that. But look at the NFL players that's on this roster today. I mean, they got a truckload full of them. So it's, I hate to see it happen, especially to somebody I've known, and he don't like me saying this, but it's probably 50 years. But, because we getting up there in age. And, I saw a guy that, Christian, he never spoke to me about being a professional player. And he was maybe the most highly recruited football player in the southern part here along the bayou at that time frame that I could ever remember. I mean, he could have went to Alabama. His old man had a little incident, Mr. Babay, with Coach Bryant, who wanted to recruit him to Alabama, and he kind of whipped him off the premises. His focus and his passion was always to be a head coach, and it was to be at LSU. He gets that job. He runs through this magical year where everything works right. And you riding high, and then to see the wave hit you tsunami-wise. And so, listen, that'll be fine. They pay it. He got 17 million reasons to be happy as he walks away. But I know he is very disappointed, and he feels as though he let down Louisiana and LSU, and also for people on the bayou. I think he took great pride in that. That, he was the first guy from here to ever become a big-time head coach. He always talked about, legacies. He would always talk about, what you and Bobby J do. And what I'm doing is going to open the door for other men and women that come from here. And I think he really, that disappoints him more than anything. And next year, I would bet you dollars to donuts he's doing TV somewhere. Because, listen, he's a storyteller. Now, if you give him enough time, man, he got him. Believe me. He got him. But I really think he will miss coaching so much that in 2023 he's coming back coach somewhere in some capacity. But I do think TV is in his future, and I do think that that's what he'll do in 2022 somewhere. I mean, they got enough networks now. Somebody willing to pay him quite a bit of money to do it. I knew it had to be done. I just, I had the feeling. I told you guys that I knew it would happen. And I feel awful for him because I think he really feels he let people down. And, that's the worst feeling in the world.